Hey, what's good, everybody? This is the xChange again, and tonight is not such a happy night. I am not with the doctor. It's empty over here. She's left me alone. Um, of course, you know, and some of you don't know, that my wife is working on her doctorate, and tonight she happens to have a lot of work to do. So I have been. Ooh, hello. See, did you hear that sound? I've been told and asked to do it by myself tonight, which is not something that we normally do. We usually, do this thing together. So I'm going to do my best. Of course, some of you know and some of you don't know that just a couple of weeks ago I lost my dad. We just laid him to rest last week. And so when Danielle asked me what were we going to talk about this week, immediately the word recovery came to mind. Um, and I'm glad it did. Um, give me a chance to talk about something, but I want to talk about something just a little different. Of course, recovery, and I can talk about recovery from a couple different aspects, as a lot of you know. Um, I remember my wild days. I remember how I really started straying away from my purpose. And so tonight we're going to talk about recovering our sense of purpose. And pretty much just something that's on my heart, because I just remember just all the craziness that used to happen with me, and how when you're young, your parents and people are always saying, "Hey, you are going to be great. You're going to be something great one day. There's a plan for your life and things like that." And so at a young age, you hear all of that, and that's like, okay, yeah, right. So me, that wasn't so important to me. Parties became important to me. Going to the clubs every weekend became important to me. Doing drugs to the extreme became important to me. People talk about how I lived a miserable life of sin. Hey, listen, I can't lie. I had a great time. I had an awesome time. I really enjoyed myself. But then I also know that I got out of control. Um, I didn't care. I didn't care about anything at that moment. I didn't care about what people said about me. I didn't care about what people thought about me. I didn't care about anything about how they felt about me. Um, I remember the times I got so out of control that my father and my mother um, would then have concern and also conversations with me to say, Dwayne, I know you're doing what you're doing, but don't forget who you are. That had a twofold thing. The one thing that it had was, you're my son, and that's not how we brought you up. And then the second thing was the whole church thing, which was, God has his hand on you. There's a plan for you. And that was always hard, but it also helped. There was plenty of times where I lost my sense of purpose. Because when you're young, sometimes you don't know what that is. People say what it is, but that's not what you're feeling at the time. I feel more now of what my sense of purpose is, and I'm hoping that having this conversation, that some young people will watch this and also begin to think about that, and move towards their sense of purpose and not lose that. Some people can really get to a place where pull they pull on you so much that you're like, I don't want that now. I don't want that. You want that for me, but I don't want that. Let's look at just really about what the recovering your sense of purpose means. Let's look at this. Okay, sense of purpose, or the meaning is the motivation that drives you towards a satisfying future. It also helps you to get the most from the things you do and achieve, large or small. Sense of purpose helps you prioritize your life. One thing I can say, I always thank God for my family and friends, who, whenever I was getting too out of control, would always bring me back, or snap me back. Some people, some of my close friends, would be able to punch the crap out of me and say, "Dude, wake up! What the heck are you doing?" Some people used to say certain things to me that just brought light um, to who I was and where I was. That helped me, like, say, refocus. I guess that's the word I'm trying to say. It helped me refocus to where I wanted to go and where I wanted to be and where I probably should have been. And let's look at the word recovery. It's a return to a normal state of health, mind, strength. Signs of recovering. There are always signs of recovery that you might see. The action or purpose of regaining possessions or control of something stolen or lost. In this case, I'm not talking about something stolen or lost in your recovery. And then sometimes there are situations, like we know there are some children whose identity are stolen or lost by these predators that are out there. My goodness, I don't even want to start talking about that because I really get angry with what I see right now. And then it wasn't stolen from me in that case, but when we talk about our regaining our possessions or control, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Your sense of control over what you're doing right now that is taking you out of focus or taking you away from what your sense of person, what your purpose is. What is it that you have to do? What is it you're supposed to be doing right now? And just always reminding you to stay focused and keep on the path. I gave this scenario to some young people one time when I had to have a conversation with them, and I took a piece of rope and I said, you know what, this is let's do it like this. This was a scenario that I used with it. I said, okay, this is the line, okay, that that you're in the path you're supposed to be on. Okay, this path right here. It's supposed to be here to here. This is the plan that's been set for you. Actually, that's the right plan for you to go. But what happens is, what you do is you'll decide to make a left turn. So right here in it, you'll take and go this way. And so you have now attached away from your original plan of which way it was supposed to go, because you wanted to do you. That you might have been, you got this girl pregnant, and now you got to go do some things other than, because this was the plan that I had for you, but you wanted to do that. Okay, you got back on track, and then you get further down here, and you decide to take another left turn or a right turn because you decided that you wanted to go off and start doing drugs. You wanted to go off and start wilding out and doing you, and so now you have to work back to the same spot to get where your goal is. But then guess what? Sometimes I found out that I got to go all the way back here to get back some stuff that was lost, or the place where I should have been. I may have to go all the way back there just to fix it up, when that was a straight line to what my sense of purpose and where I was supposed to be. And so, you don't want to get off track like that. Here's one thing I had to do when it came down to my regaining my sense of purpose and who I was. I had to change my address. When I say that, I'm not talking about where I live. I had to change, sometimes I had to change my friends. I had to change my attitude. I had to change who I was hanging out and where I was hanging. And because guess what? Sometimes if you keep hanging in a place where you used to deal with, you can relapse. Okay, how about that? you can lose those things because you decide, oh, I'm ready to be there, but you're actually not ready. And guess what? You're taking yourself, and you need the time to take away from and get away from those things that were really messing up your direction, your sense of direction, and the way your purposes you were set to do, the things you were set to do. Okay, my second point. Like most computers, cell phones, or other devices, they need to reboot. So do we. Take the time to sit back and recharge yourself. With everyday tasks in your personal lives, we do not tend to get the proper rest needed. Like my pastor said today, go on vacation. If you have not set a time for you to go on a vacation, then you need to do that. Because sometimes getting away from the particular area where you're at gives you a whole new perspective when you come back. Sometimes it'll wake you up while you're out there. Like, okay, we left to go to Orlando, and all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I'm really starting to enjoy what I'm doing right now. It's not the greatest. There are some people watching, and we're going to try to stretch it out some more so other people can watch and see what's going on. But you have to take the time to recharge and reboot. I guess my last and final thing when it comes down to recovery is, listen, I'm not going to hang around a lot of people. Like, I can understand there's times where we have to go and speak to people and talk to people about what we've gone through and what we're going through and how we feel. That's understandable. That would be pretty much, that's a smart thing to do. You've realized that you have issues and problems, and you need to talk to somebody about it. But listen, I'm not going to hang around people who are just maintaining their sadness. I understand that I may have lost a father, or I may have lost some things, but I'm not going to stay around people who are staying in a depressed state when I'm depressed. Well, that makes no sense to me. It makes no sense that I would stay. No, I have to find other things and other hobbies and other things that will take my mind away from that and pretty much might help me regain my sense of purpose. Help me regain, like, wow, dude, was I really like sitting in that place for that long and not even realize that, I just fell into that? Listen, find good friends who will tell you the truth. Reboot, okay? And then also, listen, don't stay in a situation where it's always going to keep you in a place of relapse. Don't stay or hang out in a place where it's going to take you back all the time to you not getting forward or moving forward. Listen, I hope that even this little bit of these little points that I made will help you in the future. I also pray that it will help you turn back, and look at yourself and take the time to look at your situation and say, you know what, maybe I have been lingering on that so long, so that maybe I need to move on. Find good people that would help you, and know that there's always people who are there who will help you. And listen, stop hanging around those people who will just keep bringing you down. Recovery takes, when I talk about changing your attitude, change your attitude to a place where start saying, hey, I can get through this. I'm going to make it through this, and I need to get back to where I need to go. Because guess what? The truth of the matter is, once you get through it, there are going to be people who need to hear from you. What was so crazy, being delivered from drugs and going through a divorce at one time, and also losing certain things, it helped me, because what happened was, when I turned my life around, what was so crazy is those were the people and the type of people who would come to me, and I would be the one helping them through that process. So just like the Word of God says, after you've gone through what you've gone through, turn around and extend your hand to your brother. Don't think about anything else, because your purpose is for you to live like you're supposed to live and do what you've been called to do. But then I don't need you to forget about where you came from. You have to turn around and you have to help your brother and your sister. So listen, thank you for this time. I feel alone. My baby left me. She's not here right now. Okay. But I can still go on. So, because I like to talk. I want to give a shout out to Ronnie the kid, the drummer, Ronnie Frazier. Happy birthday, dude. Also to Sharonda Witherspoon for her great accomplishments. She's an awesome woman. She's an awesome woman of God, awesome friend of ours. And we wish her and everyone else nothing but great success. You guys have an awesome time. We will see you again, and I will not be alone the next time I do this. Now, how about that? Later, Gators. The xChange. Mind-changing things.